We're backstage at the Electric Picnic 2012, and Mike, Perfume Genius, in other words, has joined us. Welcome, your first picnic.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying the experience?
I am. I haven't had much time to walk around, but I think I will soon.
You released your album, your second album, in February, or at least it came out in Ireland in February.
Yeah.
Was it a difficult birth, so to speak?
The album?
Yeah.
The release is kind of nerve-wracking just because I had finished it like months before, and it was the first time I released like an album like, you know, in a proper musician way where they like promote it and there's a plan for it and everything. So I was really terrified, you know, of how it would be received, but it's gone really well.
It certainly has. Now, I don't know whether I've been Wikipedia'd here, but you recorded your debut album in your mum's house. Is that true? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, from moving from there, which is I guess is kind of like a fairly you know, what's it, familiar surroundings. Moving to there to a studio, was that, did you find that a little bit maybe traumatic or different? Certainly.
It's kind of like everything else. I thought, you know, it's a lot scarier beforehand. Like once I actually got there, it wasn't as like businessy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be very like, I don't know, like men with pushing knobs all over the place. Well, I guess they did do that. But it was very still like, I still was honest and small. I was able to keep things small like I like.
You, a lot of the interviews I've read of you, you come across as quite a shy person, but like do you find it difficult maybe like singing in front of people? Well, I can't sing anyway, so that kind of rules that one out. But even talking in front of large groups of people, most people find very difficult. Have you got over the whole stage fright thing now? I
haven't. But there's something about like the way I talk and present myself that I seem more miserable than I am. So I'll do interviews where I think, yeah, that went really well. I was cheery and talking back and forth, and I'll read it like a week later, and it says that I was on the verge of tears the whole time.
Yeah, I did actually read that article a little while ago.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna cry. I was fine.
You played in China as well in 2011. How was that? Because that seems to be a lot more bands are touring over there.
Yeah. It was a really big culture shock. You know, a lot more than other places we've been. It was fun. We were there very quickly. Like we flew in for a show and then flew out on the same day during one, and I was very tired. So, but it was really cool to be able to go there.
Yeah, it's a place I'd love to go visit at some point. You've been very open about your sexuality and your music. Is that something that you thought was very important?
Yeah, I mean it's just who I am too. So, it's important for me not to censor who I am because of fear or because of how it will affect my career. You know what I mean? But then it became important the more I thought about it. You know.
I suppose in some senses it's a sad state of affairs that, like, I mean, I hate the whole expression of coming out. It's like you've got something to hide. But it is kind of a little bit of a sad state of affairs that people have kind of made an issue of it. And I suppose by talking about it, I've made a little bit of an issue about it either. But I suppose at some points you go, well, if you don't talk about it, it's a little bit weird, especially when it's kind of fairly there in the music. Was it ever your intention to kind of shock people?
I think about that sometimes. Like I don't mind coming from like a rebellious place, but I don't want to do things to spite people. Like I'd rather it be like whatever I want to talk about or whatever I want to say, just not be changed because of, you know, I don't know, homophobia or things that I felt in the past or things that I expect to have happen. Probably made zero sense.
Well, there's a few thousand people, in fact, probably a lot more waiting outside to hear your music, so we're not going to keep you, but thanks so much for dropping in.
Yeah,
it's great to meet
you're
you.
welcome. Nice to meet you as well.